Hey art nerds! Today we are going to do a short demonstration on how to refill your Copic sketch markers. The materials you're going to need for this tutorial are pretty simple. You're going to need your Copic Various Ink refill. You're going to need your marker that needs refilling, and ideally you would have a pair of Copic Tweezers. If you do not have Copic Tweezers, you can use your fingernails to very gently remove the nib, or you can use another pair of tweezers. What makes the Copic Tweezers special is they have little serrated grips that gently help you remove the nib. This is also a great time to replace your brush nib if it's beginning to show fraying or damaging, and I can show you guys what to look for and how to do that in this tutorial as well. So we're going to begin with a marker that we've identified as running low. This one you can see also needs to have the nib replaced. It has some Copic opaque white on the tip, and you know your marker is running low not when it's completely dry, that's almost too far gone, but when it starts to get harder to use or it starts smearing your ink regularly. So this color here, R20 Blush, is ready for a refill and for a nib replacement. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on a clean surface. This is my Ink Essentials Impermeable Craft Mat. We're going to remove the back cap. We're going to gently pull out our chisel nib and set it down. And we are going to use the appropriate color, which is not cherry white. It is this one right here. We're going to use the appropriate color to refill our marker. Now, as you guys can see here, there are gradation marks on the side of the bottle. I find that doing a 5 count, 5 Mississippi, is generally good enough, but something else you may want to look out for is when your nib is juicy and wet. That's a good sign that you've already filled it enough. Now, if you've overfilled it, you can wick some of that away by dabbing it onto some paper or, say, a Viva paper towel. So what I want to go ahead and do for this marker is actually want to remove the ruined brush nib first. So I'm going to take out my Copic Superbrush nib. You can purchase these through almost any art supply store will have them. Michael's generally does not. What's special about this nib is it utilizes a foam rubber. So it's made of a different material than many other alcohol marker brush nibs. Rather than compressed fiber, it is foam rubber, and that's why it's so flexible, can be so juicy, and resist fraying. So if we want to remove our brush nib, we gently grasp it and just pull out. I'm going to set that aside. Then you can either use your fingers if your hands are clean, or you can use your tweezers. I'm going to use my fingers to just gently push it into place. And it doesn't quite click, but you can feel when it's secure. So I'm going to recap that, remove the back, and we're going to go ahead and fill our R20. One of the reasons I'm working on an impermeable surface is I can just use rubbing alcohol to go ahead and clean this when it's done. So I will have it just slightly out to provide kind of like a burping mechanism. And if it drips, you're going to want to clean it up. You can use an alcohol. I don't know what's going on with this one. You can use an alcohol. Let's go from the other direction. It wouldn't be a Natto Soup Studio video if we didn't have things go horribly wrong. You can use an alcohol wipe to clean these off. You can use rubbing alcohol. We'll fill it from the brush nib instead. It may be already full all the way. The reason it may have been swatching poorly is because it may have had a ruined nib. It seems like that is indeed the case. Sometimes it's hard to tell because it will look full because you need to burp it. So for an empty marker, I'll do a 5 count, but I usually kind of just watch it by eye, make sure it goes down. Just replace this nib. You can watch it wick up into the nib. Too many moving parts, everything wants to spill. So if you don't clean your marker, it's going to leave a very tacky, sticky surface. So let's go ahead and recap this. I'll show you guys how to clean off your marker. Okay, I have a bottle of rubbing alcohol. 99% isopropyl alcohol in a spray bottle. I have here a paper towel. I'm going to saturate my paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe down the body of my marker. Ooh. While I'm doing this, I might use a Q-tip to clean the insides of the cap. I may also just gently clean around the collar. And this isn't just for aesthetics. This helps create a better seal so your markers will last longer and perform better. So I have a Q-tip here. Just going to unscrew my rubbing alcohol, dip it in. One cap at a time. I'm just going to quickly clean my cap and then dry it with the other end. Do the same over here. Alright, let's re-swatch our marker. Much more juicy. The nib is performing much better. So that was an A+, fantastic job. So for our R20, a brush transplant as well as a slight refill was what the doctor ordered. Let's go ahead and do another. So let's see, I have over here wax white. And my brush definitely needs replacing. Unfortunately, I'm out of brushes for right now, so I'll need to pick up some more, but it's also running quite dry. And I've zoomed in to show you guys what I'm talking about. So the brush itself is kind of floppy. It's kind of beaten up. It doesn't have as much snap back as it used to. So that definitely needs replacing. But you can also see here how it's kind of dry. Dry Copics are bad because you're not going to get as much blending. You're going to actually ruin the marker itself. You're going to ruin the brush itself. And you're going to get smudged ink, smudged art. So we can't replace the brush today, but we can refill the marker. So again, we gently remove the chisel nib. We unscrew our Various ink. And we carefully drip drop it in. And you can check when the nib starts getting juicy again. You don't want the nib dripping. Alright, so this one still needs more. Now it's looking like it might be. Yeah, you can definitely see the difference. So we're going to replace our nib. Just so that we don't lose ink to evaporation, because that definitely can happen. And we're just going to take a moment to compare the difference between the running dry and the nice fresh refill. So way back in the dark ages of this channel, I mentioned that you can purchase empty Copic wide markers and fill them with other types of alcohol ink. This one has been custom filled with Ranger's Peach Bellini, and it's in my to be refilled pile. So this is the color when it's running a little bit dry. It feels like it's kind of scraping onto the paper. Now this is a vellum paper with tooth, and some degree of resistance is going to be normal for papers with tooth, but this is just a little bit more than what I'm used to. So we're going to go ahead, refill this one as well using our, actually, let's use our fingernails. So if you have very clean hands, you may want to clean them off with some rubbing alcohol. You're going to grasp your chisel nib and slowly but firmly pull away. And then here is our Peach Bellini refill. And Ranger has the nice small tips. Jacquard has the larger, more bulbous tips. Those are a little bit harder to refill. These are actually very easy to refill. We're just gonna squirt it right there into our marker. We're gonna do a swatch test. That seems to be running much better. Then to replace our nib, again using clean hands, we're just going to reinsert it into the marker. So that is pretty simple. Okay, so I still have some markers I want to clean and fill. Figure I'll just do that in time lapse for you guys so you guys can kind of get a feel for the rhythm. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and helping me refill my Copic markers using Copic Various Inks and even a Ranger Adirondak ink. I hope this video was useful, helpful, and informative for you guys. I hope you learned something today, or maybe you picked up a new technique, and I hope to see you guys in the near future. If you're in the Nashville area and you've ever wanted to learn Copic marker art, Copic marker techniques, and you're interested in a hands-on class, you should head on over to the Nashville Plaza, either their website or there physically in person, because I teach Copic marker classes with them. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys in my classes. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye guys!